Dungeons and Dragons, a game that has been out for almost 45 years and still is being played to this day. But first, what makes the game so special? Is it the adventure you have as players, like getting endless loot, getting courageous fights, or even the darkest secrets of your character? Or just a very good DM. But anyway, greetings. What I've been D&D has been a game what I've been playing for almost 2 years. I've known for much longer, but I've found a group which I can really play a lot with. And I've been DMing now for almost also a year and a half. I have still very much to learn, don't get me wrong. But what I've noticed is, am I telling the story? Or are these little critters telling the story? Because what I've been finding out in a lot of things in Critical Role, in my own adventure, in other person's adventure, is the DMs can tell the story, but is it really our story? We may write it, we may play it, but composing the story is something that happens with these little things. And sometimes it's not normal what's happening. For example, with my very first adventure, which was very short, but it was really great, I had two player characters with me, which was an elf and a gnome. And they were on a ship, and down below there was a butcher. Also named Butcher because I was one lazy, and yet the character, how he looked, he was bald, had a little bit of an orcish look. He was human, but a kind of an orcish look from the face. And he was very smart. He did have a high intelligence. But those three were down there. So we had the gnome, the human, and the butcher, and a high elf. So I was like, alright, so what do we want to do? And they were like, okay, so they're like, okay, we heard there's a stash of liquor here. Do you have it? And he was like, and he was reaching down the cupboard of his workbench, slide something down to the left, and they see a little red bottle, about yay high, and the glasses you could imagine was like, well, pretty much something like this. Like a little whiskey glass. Like, fill it up to the top, like around here. And they were drinking it. So, I was like, okay, cool. How much do you go for? And they were like, 2 glasses maybe. Okay. And they were discussing, they were talking. And the high elf and the gnome thought like, you know what would be fun? Shutting this. I was like, you want to shut this glass? Like the whole liquor of the glass? And they were like, yep. I was like, okay, make a constitution saving throw. And the elf, which you would think would survive the liquor, no, he rolled a natural 1. And the gnome, which you would think, because he was very short, she's very short and stuff, you would knock out. No, natural 20. I was like, this is not how it's supposed to work. Like, character-wise. Like, the elf should handle the liquor and the gnome should be knocked out. No. Total different. I was like, okay, this is one of the best things. I was so amazed. And I looked at the dice. I was like, yep, that's actually a 20 and that's a 1. Wow. I was like, okay, so... I was like, okay, you're unconscious. And you, the butcher gave you a look like, whoa, this little thing can hold that much liquor. And like the human, like the butcher was really buff, so but he even was amazed, as was I. I was like, whoa, a gnome that can hold such spicy alcohol percentage of a liquor. I was like, wow, this is great. This is something you can never ever see again. So that's one example. Like how these dice tell a story. Second is character-wise. The characters, for me example, I love to play Ranger. And I always use these 3 set of dice. I always use these 3 to roll attacks, initiative, and perception, all of that kind of stuff. But with my elf, I roll always high. I roll always high. And another friend of mine who was also writing his own adventure, I was like, okay, cool, I want to try a new class. I was like, I'm going to be, I think I was a human or a dwarf, I'm not sure anymore. But I wasn't going to be paladin. I was like, okay, new class, new adventure, let's try it. It was horrible. It sucked. That character was so awful. I didn't like it as myself because it did made him. I do not even know his name anymore because that's how awful he was. It didn't feel like me. It didn't feel like, let's just say, quote unquote, one of my personalities could line up with him. And the paladin, his story was he got faith of Bahamut. And he followed his path, but he was being betrayed and all of his family was like dying. And so he like cut off from Bahamut, who was like, nope, not happening anymore. I hate it. If you were really there, then you would have saved at least one. But he was sometimes like, okay, you know what? If you're really there, you can help me. Like, help me with something. Never happened, even for me. Like, as the player with the dice, it never happened. It sucked. So I was asking my friend, like, okay, dude, can we change my character? Like, can we make my elf character from our other, like, Teddy from his universe to your universe? Like, to maybe create some space rift in time sort of thing. And he was like, yeah, sure. Don't you really like this character? I was, no, I hate it. I hate him so much. It's not working together. I hate it. Okay, so we come to a conclusion. Okay, so the party is sleeping, and Beldroth is my elf character. He comes out of a portal, and my paladin is gone. So the other party members are like, who's this? What's happening? Why isn't the paladin anymore here? And I played Beldroth, and the rolls again with the same set. Literally, I was like half an evening. I was rolling with the paladin. It was horrible. It was horrifying. Every roll, perception, attack, initiative. It was terrifying. It was horrible. But then I played Beldroth, and it was an extra 20. It was a 28. It was a you name it. I was like, yeah, this feels great again. I feel like Beldroth again. I feel in sync. I feel great. So yeah, I think characters also really meet the dice as well, including for DMs with NPCs. That is also a thing which happens because with certain situations, like with persuasion, deception, all that sort of stuff, it's amazing how these little things, I believe, really are like making the story. Like, they do that anyway, but really, like, they have a mind of their own. Like, no, this is happening today. Like, you're or going to be really absurdly powerful, or you're going to be shit in this situation. Like, as a DM myself, I'm sometimes astonished what kind of throws. Example, I was in Scotland, and I had a Nier Automata one shot. I was like, I like that game. Let's make characters. I did everything homebrew. It was pretty balanced. I was pretty amazed by myself. But for all of you who don't know, you have 2 characters, main characters. Well, 3, but you have 9S and 2B. 9S is a hacker which can hack enemies and sometimes see memories of certain villains or what's happened to them, whatever. We had a new friend. It was the first time I met him in vacation. I was like, okay, cool dude. And never played D&D before as well. While the other 4 were my original party. So I was like, okay. And he was like, the boss also was almost dead. Almost. And he literally, with the higher he rolled, the more he got to know of the villain. And literally, before 2 turns, before she died, he rolled a natural 20 on hacking. And I was like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? This is a natural 20. I looked over and it was a natural 20. And I was like, okay, so you get to know everything. I told him everything that he could know. Because if she died and he never rolled a natural 20, they would never know anything about her. Like, what she was going through, like, or whatever, you know? I was like, this is seriously not possible. This is... What? This is so weird, because if he never rolled a natural 20, or at least high enough through the whole fight, he would never have known anything. And yep, he rolls a natural 20, and 2 turns later she dies. I was like, what? How is this possible? You know, those certain type of situations make me really believe, like, they are telling the story. Like, it's the DM, yes, of course, but these little things really make more of much of a story than us players and DMs do. And another situation is this. Let me show you something. Let me see here. I believe it was around here. Oh, hold on. Yeah, okay. So we have here Critical Role. Which, if you don't know, these are voice actors, nerdy voice actors, who play Dungeons & Dragons and, like, make a whole adventure. Okay, so this is another type of thing which make me believe DICE create their own story. Beltram is a character of Travis, which you see, if you can see my mouse, right here. Travis plays, I believe, a fighter, which is very proud, and, you know, I've been through many adventures, and I've slain many things, yes. Which is, of course, a total lie. His original character, Grog, a barbarian, is being captured. His soul is in Pandemonium, which is the most horrifying hell of all time. Right now, in this part, he's being freed, and he can make 2 attacks. So I will let you see what happens. He's literally not been free, not doing any other turn. So this is Grog, his only 2 turns.
I forgot that many. It's been a while. But that's fine. You're already pretty big. You get the idea.
I know there's enough for advertising or whatever.
I'll make the first attack against him with my blood axe.
Go for it.
Not reckless.
Okay.
Just give it a minute. Natural 20.
Motherfucker.
See, even Matt Mercer is the DM, he cannot believe that a natural 20 has been thrown. The first time I saw it as well, I was like, that's not scientifically possible. That's no way. That's not happening.
Oh, if only Liev could have seen this.
That's 3 brutal criticals.
Oh, no.
5 plus 14 is 19.
Oh my God.
D6.
That's it.
19.
Trust me, by the way, watch this show. It's watch the whole
24.
second campaign or first campaign, whatever.
24 doubled is 48. That's cocked. That's a 2 for 50. And that's 11 for 61. 61 plus 66 points of damage.
Okay.
On 1 strike, all right. Next attack?
Next attack. Reckless.
Sure, go for it.
Natural 20!
No! That's fucking ridiculous. Look at that shit. Get some footage of that shit.
Alright, if you want to see the adventure, spoiler alert, so I'm gonna give you a second to click away. Okay, spoiler. After this, literally the second attack hits, the Empyrean, which they are fighting, dies. Like, you cannot tell me that's something normal which is happening. This is something more. And I'm seriously also telling a friend of mine who was also watching this, and he also was amazed. He was like, "How?" I was like, "Yeah, I know. This is some weird ass shit." And I told him as well, like, I think my theory is literally true. The dice tell the story. We DM players, whatever, can do whatever they want, but the dice have the ultimate decision. Like, they know what's going to happen. The dice know everything. But yeah, that is insane. It's the dice know more than us players and DMs know. It's of course it makes for really fun situations, like with my gnome and elf, which was amazing. But they can make an amazing story. I think you should never ever doubt the dice. The dice have the final word. But yeah, this was actually like a video I want to make for a long time, because I love D&D. It's probably been a long time in my blood. I found a few groups which I could play with, and yeah, I recommend actually to everyone who is watching, get a few group of friends, play D&D, because it's amazing. It's amazing what kind of friendships that can be made of, and all that kind of stuff. You know, you for what you know, maybe you even find your loving partner for the rest of your life. It's such a great game. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna make more videos about D&D. I'm probably gonna make some more videos about DMing, which is what I find very important. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, everybody. You know, and my final word is never doubt the dice, never, because they have the final word. Everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time, everybody. Bye bye.